this is Raina. Thank you for joining me on my How to Crochet channel. Christmas is almost here, and here's a great idea for last minute gifts, ornaments. Let's make a Christmas tree. And it works up really fast, and you can attach it to your present wrapping. You can put it on your Christmas tree, or you can display it on your window. And for the tree, I need cotton crochet thread. This golden one is made with thread size 10. I found this nice dark green Christmas tree color thread. This one is size 5. I'm using 4mm glass beads, and I need 14 of them. I have 4 golden and 10 red ones. I'm using 2 crochet hooks. I'm mainly working with 2.25mm hook, and I'm using this finer 125mm hook to attach the beads. I'm gonna show you later, and we can begin our project. And so we start this with magic ring. Make this loop, insert your hook, now pull your thread through the loop from back, make it a little bit smaller, about this size. Now chain 2 and double crochet into the loop. Then chain 3, and we're gonna do a double crochet cluster. So first double crochet unfinished, keep the last loop on hook. Second one, double crochet unfinished, keep the last loop on hook, and now pull the yarn through 3 loops on hook at once. Make another 3 chains, and next double crochet cluster. First unfinished double crochet, keep last loop on hook. Second double crochet unfinished. You have now 3 loops on hook, and pull through all 3 loops on hook. Chain 3, and next cluster. First unfinished double crochet, second unfinished crochet, double crochet, pull through all 3 loops at once. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and make total of 9 of these clusters into the ring. I made my 9 double crochet clusters. Now to end this row, chain 1, and now do half double crochet into that first stitch, top of the first cluster. So insert hook here on top and do half double crochet, so that you will end up in the middle of this chain space. So next row we can start with single stitching, 1 single stitch, and now chain 4, 2, 3, 4. Single stitch into the next 3 chain space. Now chain 2, and we're going to do our 5 chain picot with a bead. So first chain 2, and now I'm going to switch to my finer hook, 1.25mm, because this is going to fit through my bead. The bigger one that I need for the most of the project doesn't fit, so that's how I make this work. And first I'm grabbing one of my gold beads, put it on hook, insert hook in loop, and pull through the bead. there. Can be hard even with a finer hook. Okay, now it's through. Switch back to the bigger hook. And now to 2 more chains. So technically it's a 4-chain picot. Without the bead it would be a 5-chain picot, so you are welcome to do it without the bead. It's gonna be easier and faster, but I just like the beads. And now slip stitch into the 3rd chain from the beginning. 1, 2, 3. Slip stitch and chain 2 more, and single stitch into the next 3-chain space. Next, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and single stitch into the next 3-chain space. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4 chains. Single stitch into the next 3-chain space. And we're gonna do another bead picot. So first chain 2. Also chain 2 more for the picot. Switch to your finer hook. Grab gold bead. Insert hook through the loop and pull it through the bead. Switch back to the bigger hook and count 3 chains from the beginning. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, first chain 2, then count 3 from beginning, and then slip stitch. Now chain 2 more and single stitch into the next 3-chain space. That's how we are starting to form our tree triangle. Chain 4, single stitch into the next 3-chain space. One more time. And 2 one more bead picot. Chain 2 more, grab golden bead, put it on hook, insert hook through the loop and pull it through. Sometimes I use this hook to do 2 more chains. Switch back to the bigger hook, count 3 chains from beginning, 2, and slip stitch into that 3rd one. Chain 2 more, single stitch into this next space. Now chain 2 and make again half double crochet into the beginning stitch. So insert here and make half double crochet. I think I'm going to do this again. Let's do 1 chain. I want to end up more in the middle of the space. 1 chain and 2 a full double crochet. So there are always options. Our next row begins with single stitching into that last space and chain 4. Now single stitch into the next 4 chain space, chain 4 more. Now single stitch into that bead picot on the right side of the bead, chain 4 more, reach over the bead and single stitch onto the other side of the bead in that same space there. chain 4, single stitch into the next space, chain 4, single stitch into the next space, chain 4. Now again single stitch into the right side of the bead into the picot space, chain 4, reach over the bead, single stitch to the other side, same space, still in the picot, chain 4, single stitch into the next 4 chain space, chain 4, single stitch into the next space, chain 4, okay, last triangle corner, single stitch into the right side of the bead, chain 4, single stitch into the other side of bead, same picot space, chain 4 more, end of this row, just slip stitch into the first single stitch. Do this again right here, there we go, you have a triangle. Last row of the tree, chain 3. Now we're going to do a picot with red beads. Chain 1 more, switch to the finer hook, put a bead on hook, insert in a loop and pull it through, and make 1 more stitch, securing the bead, switch back to the bigger hook and count to fourth chain from hook, beginning 1, 2, 3, 4, and so this one to the slip stitch. Now do 4 double crochets into the first 4 chain space, 1, 2, 3, 4. Next double crochet into that single stitch. Okay, time for bead picot. Chain 1, switch to smaller hook, grab red bead, put it on hook, insert through the loop and pull the loop through the bead again. Make a stitch, switch to bigger hook. So now I'm going to slip stitch on into the top of my double crochet. So here, that's the way it looks the best. Do 4 more double crochets, 2, 3, 4, so that was into that next chain 4 space. Now next single stitch to a double crochet and bead picot, chain 1, grab bead, insert in a loop, pull through and make a stitch, back to the bigger hook and single stitch on top of that last double crochet. Now we are in a corner, so here first do 2 double crochets, to 1 more, and we're gonna chain our string, which is 25 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. And slip stitch the chain, so attach it to the top of the last double crochet, like we did with the picots, and double crochet 2 more into the same top space. Again, we can do our double crochet into the single stitch and bead picot. Chain 1, grab a bead, insert hook and pull the thread through, make a stitch, switch back and slip stitch into those top loops of the double crochet. Now continue this row, 4 more double crochets into the space, 1 more into the single stitch, and then to the bead picot. Again, 4 more into the chain space, 1 more into the single stitch with bead picot, and I will see you when we reach that next corner. So here's our bottom corner of our tree, the first one. I did 4 double crochets into the chain space, and now 1 more into the single stitch. We need to do the bead picot. Slip stitch on top of the double crochet, and in that corner space, first double crochet 2, 1, 2. Now do 1 more, and on top of that third one we're gonna do our last bead picot of this side. Well, we needed to do chain first, then pull through the bead, another chain, switch back to bigger hook, slip stitch into the top of double crochet. We continue, do 2 more double crochet into that same corner space, and the bottom of the tree works this just without the bead picots. Double crochet into the single stitch, 4 into the space, chain space, 1 in single stitch, 4 in space, 1 in single stitch, 4 in space. Then do the next corner same way. I'll show you when we reach there. I reached to the other bottom corner, did 4 double crochets into the space here, so 1 more double crochet into the single stitch. Now again 2 double crochets into the corner picot, 2, 1 more, and on top of this one we're gonna do the bead picot. Chain 1, grab your bead, insert and pull through, 1 more stitch, and slip stitch into the top of it, double crochet. Now do 2 more double crochets into that same corner space, 1 in a single stitch, and last bead picot. Chain 1, grab your bead, chain, slip stitch into the top of double crochets, And our last space to fill with 4 double crochets. 2, 3, 4. Slip stitch into the 3rd chain of the beginning one here. And the last row is done. So at this point, let's fasten off and cut the thread, and I will show you how to make the tree trunk. And for the tree trunk, let's do a slip knot. Okay, take the bottom edge of the tree and insert a hook here. Find the middle space here, it's this one, and insert a hook into that double crochet that's that was done into that single stitch. So it's this one. Make first single stitch, and now do 5 more single stitches. 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6 in total here, and they are exactly in the middle of the bottom edge. Chain 1, turn, and single stitch into each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Chain 1, turn, and do 1 more row of single stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and trunk is done. Just fasten off and cut the thread. So you see, I still have 1 more bead left. So we have 1 more thing to do, and it's up to you if you want to do this. There are always so many different ways to get creative with these projects. So I will attach my last gold bead with a needle into the middle of the hole that we started with. And because it's a magic ring, it's adjustable, and we can pull the thread to make it a little bit tighter. Okay. Okay, now put the thread on your needle. Okay. Insert the needle through the bead and bring it here to fit the hole. And then just reach over and start stitching onto the other side of that ring. See? It fits perfectly here. And then I just do some more stitches to make sure the bead sits in there securely. Just wherever the needle fits through. And when you think you're done, you can just cut off the thread. So now we have all our beads. And here's my other one, the golden one that I showed you in the beginning. They make a nice match. And like I said, you can make this without beads, or even attach beads to other stitches to make it even more festive, more Christmassy. It's all about your creativity and imagination. So have fun with this project. Let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to hear any feedback. And Merry Christmas. And a little side note about this tree I made earlier. To get this nice triangle look, I blocked it. So I attached it to my blocking mat with needles and used the spray starch and just leave it there until it dries, and then it's gonna keep that nice triangular look. That's just a little tip.